Are you a pre-med trying to figure out what extracurriculars to do? Well, let's talk about the 6 checkboxes for medical school applications. The first one is clinical experience. Now, this can be volunteering or paid, and it counts as clinical experience if you have direct interactions with patients. Personally, what I had on my resume was working as a patient care assistant at a children's hospital, and I had only started this experience a few months before submitting my application, so I had a good number of completed hours, but a lot of them were projected at the time. But the good thing was I still had stories to talk about. The second one is physician shadowing. Now, you want to see at least 2 or 3 specialties that are different and unique and learn really what a day in the life as a physician is. Now, shadowing experiences are great to see what a physician does for their patients, but it's also a great opportunity to ask them about their life and their path. Now, this is a great way to understand the sacrifices and the challenges that come along the way during medical school and residency, and it'll help you gain a better understanding and perspective as to what you're getting yourself into, which will come across when you talk about it in your interviews, and you will sound very mature and experienced in this field. I personally shadowed an arthroscopic orthopedic surgeon, an interventional radiologist, and some ophthalmologists, and I learned a lot of different things about each of these specialties. Now, I found interesting aspects of all of them, which was really comforting and made me realize that there will definitely be a specialty that's right for me in the future. All of these were very spaced out throughout college, and I had a decent number of hours with each one, but they did vary a lot. The third one is service. Now, if you volunteered in high school, you can't put it on your application unless you decided to continue it through college. So if you've been volunteering at the same organization, then you can definitely put that on your application, but make sure to make a distinction between what you started during your undergraduate years and post-college even. I volunteered at 2 different organizations. One was locally downtown in a community center where we worked with kids to encourage them to maintain healthy lifestyles and habits, and I really enjoyed this because we got to play fun games and activities, teach them new things, and really see the progression and the growth of these kids as they took control of their fitness and health and life. The second place I volunteered at was a place where we helped families with kids who had serious healthcare needs that were typically chronic conditions. This taught me a lot, and it was something that I briefly mentioned on my personal statement as well as a lot of my secondary essays. The fourth thing is research. Now, while getting a publication or a poster presentation is absolutely not necessary to get into medical school, I do think it's important to push yourself to try research, even if you think it's something that you might not enjoy, because you simply never know. So try a research experience out for a few months, and if you don't like it, then just simply move on. Whether it's basic science or clinical research, you should definitely explore these things, and it'll give you a better understanding as to how research plays an important role in medicine as a field. Personally, I worked in an Alzheimer's research lab for a little over a year, and that was basic science work. I worked a lot on data collection, and then I slowly transitioned to learning wet lab techniques. After leaving that lab, I decided to pursue a different opportunity with a physician that I had shadowed, that orthopedic surgeon I mentioned earlier, and so I ended up getting a publication with him on a clinical paper. And remember, publications are absolutely not necessary to get into medical school, but simply put, I got very lucky that I found a physician who did a lot of research, recognized my proactiveness, and was kind enough to offer me to work on a research project with some med students. Also, as far as research goes, just make sure that you understand what's going on in your lab or on your project, and that you can talk about in depth what you specifically contributed to the research. It doesn't have to be anything astronomical, or you didn't have to write the entire paper or anything like that, but just make sure that you can show that you were paying attention, you learned, and you engaged in a helpful and significant manner. Now, the 5th category is a little bit more convoluted. It is leadership experiences. This can be working as a TA, being a mentor, private tutoring, holding a position in a club, and so many other things. Now, you don't have to be the president or even vice president of a club. Just make sure that you were influencing decisions, you led a group of people, or you improved some aspect of the club, an event, something along those lines, and you can talk about what you specifically contributed. Now, what I personally did, I won't go over absolutely everything, but I was a TA for my scholars program, I was an ambassador for my major, I held a couple of small club positions, and I also was a private tutor for biochemistry, which I did on my own account. And again, none of your leadership experiences had to be some significant, insane improvement, some crazy leadership position that you held, but just make sure that you were making a difference and you can speak to what you did as a leader. Now, the 6th category is probably the most fun. It is hobbies. So these can be arts, they can be sports, and whatever non-academic things that you enjoy doing in your free time. I personally did not put any of these on my AMCAS application. As you guys know, you can put up to 15 things in your work and activities section. I thought I was going to put some hobbies at first, but I ended up getting more experiences than I had expected in my undergrad years, and so I didn't put any of these on there. If you want more information on how to get relevant experiences during college, let me know and I will make a future video about that. But hobbies are a great thing to mention in secondary essays and even in your interviews, because they really help you connect with your interviewer on a different level than just talking about medicine. Now, a great thing that you can do in your interviews is also read the body language of the other person. If you're talking about something and they don't seem that interested, they're looking away, they might look a little bored, then just summarize the topic quickly and move on. But if you're talking about something, no matter how abstract or unrelated to medicine, and they're engaged a lot, they're nodding, they're smiling, they look interested, and then keep talking about it, ask them a question, and that'll really help facilitate the conversation and make it that much more enjoyable for you and the interviewer. So what did I do for hobbies? Now, there are a lot of things that I did on and off, but a short list includes running, basketball, lifting, playing video games, watching movies, hanging out with friends, learning an instrument, video editing, learning a new language, reading about business, making new connections, and so many more things. Now, if your hobbies don't relate to why you want to do medicine, but they did significantly impact who you are as a person, then maybe don't mention it on your personal statement, but do talk about it in some secondary essays and definitely in your interviews. And also, don't feel the need to talk about absolutely everything when asked the question, tell me about yourself. Just simply list a couple things and that'll suffice. For other free resources like how to study for the MCAT, write your personal statement, and prepare for medical school interviews, check out the other videos on my YouTube channel and subscribe for more of them. Also, leave a like if you found today's video helpful. I will also soon be posting a video with a deep dive into how many hours you should have for each of these experiences, as well as step-by-step guides and resources to get clinical experience, volunteering, and research. Many of these resources will also be posted on my Instagram account. If you want that, the username is the same as my YouTube and the link is in the description. Thanks for watching and best of luck.